After months of agonizing and confusing reports, it seems like the case of Elon Musk buying Twitter is finally settled. It's official. The richest, most ambitious, and most influential man in the world is finally going to control Twitter. From charging big accounts a fee to post tweets, to trying to bring the social media to a seventh of the world population, here are some of the few ways Elon Musk is planning to change Twitter. Now, as all of us have heard, probably dozens of times by now, Elon Musk made a move to purchase Twitter for around $44 billion in April of this year, after a few months of buying a ton of shares in the company. And while it took a while to get the deal through, it looks like the Twitter board and Elon will finally go through with it. And as part of the deal-making process, Elon also had to get a few banks on board to invest in the project. And for the banks to do that, the banks wanted to know what Elon's actual plans for the platform are. So, during a presentation in mid-April, Elon basically made a pitch to potential banks during which he made a few interesting remarks. And while the resulting $13 billion that he got in loans is part of the why he was able to get the deal, what we are interested in is not the deal itself, but what he told the banks about his goals. Some of them were technical, others a little more policy-based, but anyone who has read them can agree that these goals could potentially change the world of social media or the internet as a whole as we know it. So let's start by taking a look at these changes one by one, starting with the simplest and biggest one. He wants to increase revenue by 5 times. That's right, not double the revenue, or triple, or even quadruple. Elon wants to have Twitter revenue increase by a factor of 5. And what's more, he wants it done in less than 6 years by 2028, meaning that the platform, which is worth around $5 billion right now, will be worth over $26.4 billion when Elon is through with it. Now, if that's so easy, why hasn't anyone tried to do anything like this before? Well, there's a very specific reason for that. He plans to cut Twitter's reliance on advertising to less than 50% of revenue. You see, as of right now, the majority of Twitter's revenue, over 90% as it stands, comes from advertisements in the form of promoted tweets. And there is only so much you can do with one source of income. And that's not good enough for Elon. Instead, he plans to reduce that reliance on advertising revenue to only 45% of Twitter's total earnings. According to insider reports, Musk has claimed that by 2028, he plans the revenue picture to look something like this: $12 billion from advertisement, $10 billion in subscriptions, and the remaining from other businesses, like data licensing. Which brings us to the next part of the video. These new revenue streams, starting with the first one. He wants to generate $15 million in payments within a year. Although none of us have probably ever interacted with the system, as of right now, there's a tiny payment system in place for Twitter users in the form of tips, and there was even talk about paid spaces on the app. But besides those two, there's really no other way to send or spend money on Twitter. But according to Elon, as soon as he is in control, all of that is gonna change. By using a variety of techniques, Musk plans to bring in at least $15 million from their payment fees in 2023 alone. This will not only be huge as compared to the negligible amount that the platform makes from that side as of right now, but the eventual goal is even greater, as Elon wants to bring that number from 0 to 15 million to a whole $1.3 billion by 2028. And that's not the only big number involved, as the most talked about goal is he wants 1 billion people using Twitter in 6 years. That's right. It seems that Elon's thinking that Twitter was a niche platform was not a one-time thing, but he actually believes in that completely and plans to change that by having nearly a seventh of the world's population on the application by 2028. For reference, that number is almost 5 times the current 217 million users. Musk has also stated that he wants the process done in steps, which he wants the user base to grow to 600 million by 2025 and reach his exact goal of 931 million users by 2028. This growth is also tied to another thing on Musk's agenda. He wants to revamp Twitter Blue. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, late last year, Twitter introduced their own subscription offering, kind of like YouTube Premium or a premium Reddit account called Twitter Blue. This was supposed to give users benefits like being able to edit tweets, have ad-free news, and the ability to post longer videos. And while the service is still in its testing phase in North America, Australia, and New Zealand, the response has been a little underwhelming. But Musk believes that with a few changes, the $3 a month service could bring in a lot more revenue and reach a lot more people. Among the changes, he has suggested stuff like slashing its price, banning advertising, and giving an option to pay in the cryptocurrency Dogecoin, among other things. And for what he expects from that, well, according to insider reports, Musk told the pitch deck that he expects 69 million users of Twitter Blue by 2025, a number which will rise to 159 million by 2028 if everything goes to plan. And speaking of subscriptions, apparently Musk has goals beyond Twitter Blue because he also wants to launch a new subscription dubbed X. Now, there are really no real details regarding this, but according to reports, Musk also mentioned during his pitch plans to create a new product called X, which is supposedly going to be a subscription-based or other kind of service, which he hoped will have 104 million users in 2028, with a massive 9 million users expected in the launch year alone. Now, user numbers are not the only thing he mentioned, because as expected, money is more important than raw users. And as a result, one of the most impressive figures that Elon mentioned was he wants to increase average revenue per user by $5.39. Now, while it's easy to just judge social media based on their net market worth or the number of users they have, the actual metric that determines a platform's success is the amount of wealth it generates when compared to each person on the platform. This metric, called average revenue per user for Twitter, currently stands at $24.83 to a much more competitive $30.22 by 2028. And while better ads, more subscription services, and everything else we mentioned will help with that, the more exciting stuff that will help them create more money will be stuff like he wants to make money from viral tweets. Once again, details are thin on this one, but according to a lot of sources, Musk told the banks that one of the ways he plans to make money is by banking on Twitter's most popular assets, that is, viral tweets, whether funny, political, or other. And while he hasn't told exactly how he'll do that, it can be guessed that he would have brands which interact with the tweet pay a fee or advertise in relation to the tweet, or the next bit on our list. He wants to charge from tweet embeds. As of now, embedding tweets, that is, making a tweet appear as in an article, is completely free, as it's quoting it. But Elon thinks that since embedded tweets are hosted and provided by Twitter itself, they should earn the company some fees. So, he plans to charge brands and news sites pay a set of fee or a part of the revenue from the tweets that they embed in their articles. But wait, won't they just not embed the tweet and simply quote the actual words? Well, for that, we have Elon's biggest idea. He wants to target brands. I'm pretty sure that most of us on Twitter joined up because we wanted to stay in touch with current events. That means stuff like news headlines, tweets from big celebrities, and even official accounts from government and civil users. Right now, these people get a lot of benefits from the platform while contributing no direct revenue. So Elon is planning to change that by having such big users pay a fee for Twitter's exposure. Meaning that in a few years, brand accounts as well as official ones will be in a separate category from the regular ones, creating two different user bases, which will be very interesting to see as that is the first time this has happened to the platform. And that's not the end of the proposed changes either. There's also plans to have an edit button, have Twitter's code be made public for transparency, and even talks of revamping the company's management from pay cuts, layoffs, and a new headquarters. But for now, all these points toward one thing. Whatever may happen, Twitter will never be the same again. On that note, we must end today's video. Click on any one of our two videos on your screen, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.